Well, howdy. Made a quick stop here in Fairbanks. This is a portion of the downtown area. Fairbanks was founded in 1901 when a guy set up a trading camp here. And then with the big gold rush, it really took off in 1903. It's kind of nice, isn't it, huh? This little part here. Business district, I guess if you call it that, is over there. Anyway, took off in 1903 and then kind of settled down, and then it kind of went back up again and then settled down, and then World War II really took off again. And today the Fairbanks metropolitan area is 96,000 people. That's pretty big. And it's also, here's a fun little trivia fact, it's the northernmost metropolitan area designated in the United States. So anyway, just made a quick trip to this little downtown area here, and then I'll show you the river real quick. This is the Chena River, which bisects Fairbanks, and it's had a history of, or it had a history of flooding and stuff. In fact, 1967 had a real big flood. It just basically flooded out all of Fairbanks, I think about 95% of it. But they recovered, and then they've built some flood control stuff so that it's no longer a problem. And then here's another interesting bit of history, is that church right over there used to be over on this side of the river. And I forget what year it was, but for whatever reason they needed to either rebuild the church because of something or other. So they decided the cost was too prohibitive to rebuild the church over on this side, which is where they needed to put it. So instead, they waited until winter, till the river flooded over, and then they just moved it right across the river here, up the bank, and into the place where it is today. And the funny story was that the residents here were taking bets on if it was going to make it or not. And most of the bets were going against it, but the church prevailed and they got it across. And then another interesting story too is that they were using cables. They had cables wrapped around it to pull it. And when they got it over to the other side, almost in place, the priest there that was in charge, he thought, I better put another cable around it just in case. And all the contractors were saying, oh no, that's just an extra expense. You don't need to do that. That's just a waste. And he said, just go ahead and do it anyway. And sure enough, right at the last minute, before they got it into place, the other cable snapped, and the extra one that he put in place was the one that got it up in place. Otherwise, if they hadn't put the extra cable on there, the thing would have slid back into the river, and rest would have been history. So there's your truncated view and a little bit of history of Fairbanks. And now, good morning. That's it. Good morning. I'm here in this area that's just right on the edge of Denali National Park. The border of Denali would be right about in that area there. Anyway, looking over this valley, I think the valley is called Three Rivers Valley. If you're looking it up, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Also, this area is called Healy Overlook. The area of Healy is right down there. And that peak off in the distance is Mount Hayes, I believe. I got here last night. I spent a few days in Fairbanks, and then I didn't leave Fairbanks till almost 5 o'clock in the evening, afternoon, whatever you call it. And it was a nice drive, a nice little quick drive actually. And then I found this spot up here in the on the mountain. The interesting thing about this spot though is that as I was driving up this little road, all these ATVs side-by-sides were following me up here. Turns out this is quite the popular spot for these companies to bring the tourists up here to get a little taste of what this area looks like and to drive the ATVs up here. So it's pretty nice spot. And then on the agenda for today is, I don't know, drive a couple hours, 3 hours maybe. Going to go down the Denali Highway. Eventually make our way over to the town of Tok, Alaska. That'll be in about 3 days, I think. And then from Tok, going to actually drop back down into the Yukon for a little bit on the way to our secret destination on next Friday. So stay tuned for that, and so let's get a move on. All right, I made a quick stop along the highway here. We're going to Cantwell and we're going to turn left. But the reason I wanted to stop here is because this is going to be about the best view we're going to get of Mount Denali. I believe that's it right there. We are looking basically westerly. Over here, that's north, that's up towards Fairbanks. And then Cantwell is just going to be a few miles down this way, and we're going to turn left and start going east. So anyway, I think that's it. We might have another opportunity to see it, but I didn't I didn't exactly plan this section out very well. Otherwise, I would have put 2 more days into it, so we could have actually gone into Denali National Park proper. As it is, we've just been skirting the eastern boundary of it. But I guess that's for another trip, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and head on into Cantwell. It's going to top off on some gas, and then hopefully that gas will get us all the way to Tok without running out. All right, we've turned on to the Denali Highway. I got about another 100 miles to go for today, and hopefully my tank of gas gets me to Tok in 2 days. So I'll just have to drive slowly. And also, I'm kind of feeling out of it. I got that kind of creeping crud when I got back into Fairbanks, and I don't know if it's a bronchial thing or whatever, but just been trying to fight it off. So, kind of a quiet day today. Good afternoon. Late start. It's after 12. The breeze has changed a little bit. It's actually giving the glaciers there a little bit of a brown tint. I don't know if you can see that. So I guess it's bringing smoke in from somewhere. So we're headed this way today, about 120 miles. And I don't know what I'm going to be able to bring you today. I'm out of it. So I think I'm just going to zone. And if there's something that pops up that's really good, then I'll show it to you. Otherwise, bear with me. Let's get a move on. Okay, I do have something here to show you. Little rest area alongside the road here. It's always amazing looking at these old glacial valleys. This is all scoured by glaciers, and in fact, there's one right there still doing its thing. The Golconda Glacier. But you know, looking at all this landscape, and then also reading this sign right here, it really tells you about the, oh, I don't know, the way that every time is long, but time is short. That sign that I just briefly showed you was showing how people first came up through this valley. You know, first was the native people, the Athabascans or whatever you call them, and then the gold prospectors, or the trappers came, then the gold prospectors came, and then the roads came, and then everybody else came, and so all this glacier stuff, the geological stuff, takes long time. But all this stuff about people coming through and the roads getting built and all that, it's just like a matter of less than 100 years. So just like when I go out to the desert, I really get that sense of the longness and the shortness of time. And here comes something philosophical. I truly believe that that eternity that we always think about, you know, so many people think that eternity is a long time. I actually think that eternity is the smallest slice of time that you can even think of. The most infinitesimal, smallest portion of time. It's the absence of all time. So, long time, short time, no time. That's my philosophy lesson for today. All right. Going somewhere today, I don't know. Well, let's get a move on. You know, the way the sky has been today, just kind of hazy. It's kind of like that hazy fall look. And then with the color here on the side of the road, with the way the sun's hitting it, makes it seem like it's fall as well. Look at that. But it's not. Although in Alaska, fall starts early. But even though it looks like it, I wouldn't call it fall yet. All right, in a place called Slana, which is about 60 miles or so away from Tok, But started the day with a brownish kind of tinge to the sun, and ending the day with kind of a brownish kind of tinge to the sun. So I guess maybe the breeze has shifted enough to bring us smoke from, I guess, there's still fires in British Columbia. Anyway, I'm on some BLM land, which actually, it sounds kind of weird to me when I say BLM land and Alaska in the same breath, because you know, I'm used to BLM land, you know, out in the deserts and the western part of the lower 48. But when I hear BLM and Alaska, it just kind of throws me for a loop a little bit. Yeah, just kind of a little basic little spot here. Found a little side pocket off of a dirt road here. I wanted to go a little bit, oops, bugs, ouch, down this way, but there's somebody else down there next to the creek. So I think I'll stay here and get eaten alive. Hopefully my screens will keep everything out. All right, and that's it. Feeling a little bit better, but still kind of, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Keep up those prayers. Look at all these bugs. All right, good night. Well, hello from, good morning from Mosquito City. Kind of a nice little spot, quiet last night. Got some rest. Feeling a little bit better, but still not up to speed, but it's been a nice little spot. And I've heard something rustling around today, this morning, and look, it broke it off here. Don't know what that's all about. So the plan is going to Tok today, and then a little bit past Tok, find a I can't even talk. Find a Fish and Wildlife Service campground that is free, actually. So that's what's on the plan for today. Might get some resupplies in Tok. And I think today is our last day. Well, I'll tell you about that later. All right, let's get a move on. All right, I just stopped in Tok, got something to eat. Actually, I feel better now. Funny how that works. So now I think I'm going about another, I don't know, hour and a half or so. There's I think I already told you this, there's a free Fish and Wildlife Service campground up ahead. So hopefully we'll get there before it fills up, because, you know, free attracts, right? By the way, if this section of highway looks somewhat familiar, it's because we entered Alaska right here from this road right here. That's the way to Dawson City in the Yukon. We're going past it. All right, we made it. It's called Deadman's Lake campground. It's like I said, Fish and Wildlife Service. It's free, and look at this too. It's got a interpretive path to go see all the different sites. So pretty neat little place, and I think I got the second last spot, so that's a good deal. And then tomorrow, guess what? Kind of bittersweet. We're heading back into Yukon territory. Yeah, we're leaving Alaska. But that's not the last day of Alaska. No, no, no. we'll be about 3 days inside Yukon, and then we're going to cross back into Alaska, the southeastern panhandle, if you want to call it, going down to Haines. And then in Haines, I got a treat for you, but you're going to have to wait for that. So our sort of almost kind of in a way last night in Alaska before we head back into Canada for a few days. Good morning. Let's maybe go. And nice lakeside spot last night. It certainly is quiet too, huh? Anyway, let's see what let's see what Canada has in store for us today. That's right, Canada, for the next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days, I guess. So let's get a move on. All right, quick stop. You know why? I'll tell you why. To Alaska, to go north, to rush is on.